I'm going to keep it straightforward because I know the biggest worry when you're looking at a piece of equipment like this is whether you're actually getting something that will fit your life, not just a set of numbers on a page. The PECRON F5000LFP is marketed as a massive 5 kWh LFP station that can be expanded to almost 36 kWh, and the promise is that it will sit in the garage, power a whole house during an outage, and even run an RV on a weekend camping trip. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What matters is how that promise translates when you plug it in for the first time, and whether the trade-offs it brings are worth the price tag. First off, the biggest thing people overlook with any large-capacity solar generator is the weight and the space it occupies. The F5000LFP is housed in a steel frame box that feels solid, but it also weighs well over 200 pounds. That means it's not something you'll be dragging around your backyard on a whim. If you have a dedicated spot, say a corner of a garage or a utility shed where you can run a short power cord to your breaker panel, that's fine. If you need something you can pick up and move from one campsite to another, you'll probably find the heft a real hassle. In my own setup, I've placed the unit on a concrete slab next to the main service panel, and the only real moving I do is rolling it onto a small hand truck for occasional maintenance. The real strength of this station shows up when you think about how you charge it. PECRON advertises 6400 W of solar input, which on paper sounds like you could fill the battery in a few hours with a decent solar array. In practice, you need multiple high-current solar panels and a compatible charge controller to get anywhere near that rate. Most homeowners who are just adding a backup system will start with a single 400 W panel, which means a full charge could stretch over a day of good sun. The good news is that the unit also accepts AC input, so you can plug it into a wall outlet and top it off overnight. For an RV user, the solar option is the sweet spot. If you already have a roof-mounted array, you can feed the station directly and have a reliable home-base battery that you don't have to rely on noisy diesel generators for. When it comes to output, the F5000LFP offers 12 ports, 6 AC outlets, 6 DC ports, and a few US-type connections. In my tests, the AC outlets held steady at 120 V and could handle a 7200 W surge for things like a well pump starting up. That's the kind of scenario where a lot of cheaper generators choke your refrigerator's compressor, or an electric heater can draw a sudden surge and trip the whole system. The dual voltage capability, 120V/240V, lets you choose whether you want to run standard household appliances or larger loads like an electric dryer. The downside is that you have to manually set the voltage switch, and if you forget, you could end up with a dead appliance or a blown fuse. It's a small step, but it's one that trips up people who aren't used to thinking about voltage selection. Now, who actually benefits from a setup like this? If you live in an area prone to grid outages, think severe storms, wildfires, or long winter blackouts, and you have essential devices that must stay on, medical equipment, sump pump, freezer, the F5000LFP gives you a buffer that's far larger than the typical 12 kWh portable power stations. The LFP chemistry also means you can cycle the battery many more times without a dramatic loss in capacity, which translates to a longer lifespan if you plan to use it regularly. For an RV owner who spends a lot of time off-grid, the expandable nature of the system is a real plus. You can start with the base 5 kWh and later add extra battery modules to reach that 35 kWh figure, essentially turning a single unit into a mini home battery system. On the flip side, if your primary need is occasional camping trips or you only want backup power for a few lights and a phone charger, this is overkill. You'll be paying for capacity you'll never use, and the size and weight become a logistical headache. Also, the system doesn't include a built-in inverter that can handle a true whole house load without additional wiring. You'll need a qualified electrician to connect it to your main panel, which adds to the upfront cost and complexity. Lastly, the smart app that PECRON touts works, but it's not as polished as the apps you see on more consumer-focused brands. It gives you basic readouts of voltage and remaining charge, but you won't get detailed analytics or remote start-stop capabilities. So, what does the value really come from? It's not just the headline 5 kilowatt-hour figure, it's the combination of a high-discharge leaf APO pack, the ability to accept a substantial solar input, and the flexibility of dual voltage output. If you're the type